Mike, thank you ever so much for giving us the time, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. You all excited? Excellent. Well, as you've heard, my name is Mike Johnston. I'm what we call a regional workplace consultant with the Prudential. And as you've been hearing, we, as I hope you know, are the in-house money purchase additional voluntary contribution facility, AVC provider, Shropshire Pension Fund here, the local government pension scheme. Now, I intended to deliver a presentation for you over the course of maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, something like that. I would suggest that this can fan out a little bit. We'll give you some time for questions and answers at the end. We should be done by 1:45, something like that, to manage your expectations. But some of you who've seen us doing these employer forum presentations in the past will have seen us talking about upcoming changes with freedom and choice legislation, 100% tax-free cash on AVCs, and of course there has been a lot going on in recent times. So just need to bring you back up to speed with things if you weren't aware already. So I'm going to break this presentation down into 5 key sections really. First of all, a bit of a scheme update. What's the active membership of your, in the money purchase AVC Prudential? A few statistics there. The changes that are now impacting on this AVC that are coming through from pension scheme legislation within local government itself, of course, and also the freedom and choice legislation that I believe you've been hearing a little bit about already this morning from Mercer's. Budget freedoms, as I've just mentioned, and other developments. What has been mentioned there is that there is a lot going on, and there are a lot of questions being asked by individual members about AVCs and how to increase benefits. There's a lot of support available from the Prudential as well, so I'm going to finish on that at the end, okay? Obviously, because that's the finish. The update. Well, I'd be led to believe that active members within Shropshire Pension Fund now around the 15,000 and 15,500 mark. Okay, so if that's the case, you might be interested to know that there are 430 active members of the AVC currently, which is just about 3%. Okay, we've also got 385 pensioner members as well, and you will find that just under £500,000 worth of contributions are arriving at the Prudential on an annual basis from those active members. That's created an average fund value of about £9,000 per member here at Shropshire, which is not a small amount when you consider the fact that that is purely additional voluntary contributions going on top. Some people take this much more seriously and are putting in thousands and thousands a month, and some are putting in very low contributions indeed, and you will probably see why that is a little bit later on. So yes, funds under management currently just under 4 million for Shropshire. Moving to the next section. By the way, if you've got questions, please do ask as we go through. Let us know though that I don't hear very well, so if you've got any questions, please put your hand up. I'll try and come out and hear what you're saying. But the changes impacting on AVCs. The history lesson here really, of course, is that 2006 was a very, very significant day in pensions. It was called A-Day, as you might be aware. The intention was for pension simplification. Unfortunately, what it actually did was make things a fair bit more complicated. And what it brought with it was the ability for local government pension scheme members, within limits, to be able to take an entire AVC pot that they create with tax-relieved contributions, potentially entirely tax-free at retirement. Okay? So if you think about that, if you've not thought about this before, as tax-free from the contribution, tax-efficient growth while it's within an AVC account, and then a complete refund of those contributions at retirement if it's sat within 25% of the total value of that member's local government pension scheme benefits when they retire. Okay, so that's been around for a while. So that came in 2006, and then of course in 2008 there was the change to your pension scheme, and of course 80th members then became 60th final salary pension scheme members. We had that for 6 years, and then of course in 2014, a very substantial change again to move to 49ths and a career average type arrangement. But with that, of course, the AVC had changes too. Up to that point, you had been able to take 100% of the arrangement as tax-free cash. But we were also then hearing about the DCLG intent, okay, to limit that to 25% tax-free cash from AVCs. The thing is, that regulation never actually arrived. I'm going to make some more comments on that, but that was the situation in 2014. And then, of course, now what we've got is budget freedoms. Chancellor talking about you being able to access AVCs and other types of pensions, frankly, in a much more flexible way. So, never a boring moment in pensions, so they say. Now, we have heard, as I've already indicated, about the LGA's intention to restrict tax-free cash on AVCs. But as I've said, the legislation never then came in to reflect that intention. So, what we've had for the course of the last year and a half was a big rush for the line. Initially, before 2014, April 2014, to start AVCs so that people could take them out 100% tax-free. Then, of course, members have continued to be able to do that because the level of legislation was never changed. The protection was always going to be there for pre-1st of April 2014 members. So if they'd been subject to those rules and they had changed, as was expected, they would have been protected, but they didn't change. So we've now got an interesting scenario, though, where your members can still put anywhere up to £40,000 a year into a pension, and therefore potentially up to 100% of their salary into a pension. Okay? There was a previous limit within local government pension scheme rules which said that you couldn't put more than 50% of your pensionable pay into a money purchase AVC. But since April 2014, because the rules never changed, members have been able to put in up to 100% of their salary. So we've got people who joined before that date still putting in anywhere up to 50, but people who've joined since being able to put up to 100. And this is a little bit of a glitch in the rules and regulations. It is being addressed, and there is an expectation that that will change, and everybody will be limited to 50% at some point going forward. Okay? Now, this might sound crazy when I'm talking about people putting in huge amounts of their salary, but given the fact that you can get tax relief on your contribution, tax efficient growth, and then tax-free return of it, there are members doing exactly that, and certainly within the last year or 2 or 3 of retirement. Hope that makes sense. Yeah. So you've heard about the LGA guidance note, the restriction removed pending the review of the regulations. Post 1st of April, applicants retain tax-free cash option plus this 100% contribution rather than 50%. But the regulations are under review, and we do now expect 100% tax-free cash to continue. It was mentioned that that would probably be removed at some point in the future, but this needs to be confirmed, everybody. But there is an intention to reduce the maximum contribution to 50% of salary again, okay, or pensionable pay. So there's your 100% tax-free cash scenario. I work with teachers, with the university superannuation scheme, with the NHS. The ability for your members to take 100% tax-free cash is really rather exclusive. Many other public sector schemes will get tax relief on contribution, tax efficient growth, but it's 25% of the fund as tax-free cash when they retire. So that ability is rather extraordinary, and it does need communicating out to the members so they realise they can do it. Yeah. Budget freedoms, though, very significant developments because of stuff that's been announced by the Chancellor a couple of years ago now. It was launched in April 2015. There were schemes like the teacher scheme, the NHS scheme, that pretty much brought in the freedom and choice options that were available for their members straight away. Local government pension scheme, of course, was going through some substantial changes at the time, and as a result, freedom and choice has not been adopted immediately, directly on the AVC. However, an intention was made, or the intention again was declared, that that would be happening at some point in the future. So, money purchase AVCs, you can still access them using freedom and choice, but to do so, you would have to transfer the pot that you create alongside the local government pension scheme into some sort of personal pension or alternative arrangement that will allow freedom and choice access. Again, I believe you've been hearing about what these options are this morning, so I'll quickly summarise them again in a minute, but I won't spend too much time on the detail. I know at 45 that my minimum retirement age is now going to be 57, essentially. So freedom and choice for me from 2028 means that I can access my benefits from the age of 57, okay, under these new style arrangements. And what does that actually mean? Well, some very interesting news with the money purchase AVC is something called partial withdrawal. I don't know if anybody's ever considered this, but let's say you've got £60,000 in an AVC. That's a lot of money, but let's say you have. And instead of deciding that you're going to take it completely tax-free at retirement, or convert it into an annuity, or various other things that you could do, you decide, well, I'll leave. I'll actually leave my job 3 years early, and I'll live off £20,000 a year out of my AVC. Now, previously, of course, that wouldn't have been permissible. But now, you could take your pot and move it into a personal pension so that you can access £20,000 a year for 3 years. What's the relevance of that? Well, if you take a quarter of each withdrawal tax-free, that's £5,000, isn't it? And we get a personal allowance each year, don't we? £10,600, which is not taxed. That only leaves about £5,000 of each withdrawal in those circumstances that would be taxable. So what's happened is freedom and choice has enabled people to leave early. It's not early retirement, it's accessing a part of their pension so they can leave. All right, in a very tax-efficient way. These things can be explained to the members a bit slower, of course, in some presentations that we do. Flexi Access Drawdown, you may have heard about this morning. Some people would like to take 25% of their benefits tax-free straight away, but not necessarily take the other 75% immediately and get taxed on it. So there are products now becoming available so that you can take 25% tax-free and then take incomes or lump sums over a period of time throughout your retirement after you have initially retired. Okay? But the current position is that if a member wishes to do this, they have to stop paying their ABC payments, clearly. They have to transfer their ABC fund to an approved provider. But watch this space, it could be that at some point in the future, members will be able to do it directly with your ABC provider, in your case, Prudential. And then, of course, we've got the Pension Schemes Act 2015 does actually permit these transfers from ABCs into these personal pensions. You don't have transfer charges on your ABC. Renegotiated out of the contract. Oh, hang on. New button. So, the impact on your members is that what this enables them to do is have more flexibility. I think for many years you'll probably agree that they had the option to take an ABC account, give it to the pension fund to increase their pension benefits. They have the ability to turn it into an annuity from the open market, which is a way of purchasing income for the rest of their lives. But now they have the ability to be able to flexibly access it, to partially withdraw it, and possibly even to fully encash it. Because now, of course, you could take 25% of it tax-free and the other 3/4 after tax, any time from the age of 55. Lots of additional flexibility, but don't forget, this almost exclusive ability for them to remove it entirely tax-free within limits at the point that they retire from the main local government pension scheme itself. That is simply extraordinary. Tax relief is still available on contributions. I mean, that's got to be one of the most significant points, hasn't it? If you put in £100 into something, actually it's only costing you 80 or 60. That makes a very big difference. But remember that there has also been an adjustment to the way that your annual allowance works if you do flexibly access your AVC. If you were to take it sooner than the retirement date from the local government pension scheme, a new limit has been brought in of a £10,000 money purchase annual allowance. Okay? The £40,000 still stands as a main annual allowance, but the £10,000 would be there if you wanted to put more money into AVCs and you've already flexibly accessed them in some way. So what other developments have we got? Well, of course, we're aware that in the background we have got consultations on the future of tax relief. There's all sorts of things going on here. Obviously, rumours of 40% tax relief disappearing, rumours of a flat rate of tax relief at 25%, which of course wouldn't be great for higher rate taxpayers, but would enable basic rate taxpayers to benefit more from making contributions towards additional arrangements. So it does impact AVCs considerably. And of course next year we also have the lifetime allowance situation where it's currently £1.25 million, but it will be dropping to £1 million. It's been commented on for a while now that the lifetime allowance has for some years been at such a high level that it's not really affecting middle to high income earners in the public sector. But with it dropping to £1 million, we're now possibly having conversations with people on a higher income, lots of service, about them hitting their lifetime allowance. So an important time for people to be aware of their financial situation for the future. Annual allowance. I did mention a moment ago that you can put in up to currently £40,000 a year into a pension. There is an unusual situation at the moment where people within limits could be putting up to £80,000 into their pension because there's a split period on the contribution. And then you've also got this £10,000 limit on money purchase annual allowance. All of these things we can deal with in communications for your members, which I will come back to a little later. In fact, right now. Gosh, I've shot through that. Yes, if you are looking at this and thinking, well, actually, yes, the combination of retention of 100% tax-free cash, the fact that we've got some members that can be putting in 50% of their salary and some of them that can be putting in 100%, the fact that we've got freedom and choice now available against AVCs, even though there's a transfer needed. These things possibly should be in front of my members. There's a number of ways that we can support you with that. The first one, of course, is you have me. I am the representative that will cover Shropshire, and we deliver a member presentation. It's about 40-45 slides long, lasts about 45-50 minutes. It covers how you accrue your pension benefits through the main scheme, so a proper technical update on the local government scheme. But also then, of course, it will cover the issues about being able to increase benefits. Of course, also recognising the other options to increase benefits through the local government scheme, not just the money purchase AVC. So I'll come out and do that for you ad infinitum, not a problem, because they are well in demand and they are well received. There is also something we're developing for your senior management teams, which recognises the fact that people might be impacting with the lifetime allowance, with annual allowance issues as well, money purchase annual allowance issues. So there is going to be a shorter deck available that we can present to your senior management team to higher earners if you wish us to. All right? That will be available shortly, I should imagine, just after Christmas. We didn't do individual consultations for a while, but if you do wish me to come in and speak to individuals around the benefits of AVCs, getting them started, stopping, increasing, decreasing, etc., I can do that now. So yes, that process is available. And of course we have our retirement specialist team who are always there, 9 till 6, Monday to Friday. And what I've done, everybody, is I've put a couple of leaflets over on the table there. If you've not thought about AVCs for your members for a while, do pick them up, have a look and see what we're doing. We also have a website. Is it up on here?
It is.
I'll have a quick look in a second. So I will quickly give you a walkthrough on that. If you go to the website that is both on the presentation there and on the literature that I've left you to take away, we've made some very significant developments. I know that sometimes this can appear salesman taking you through this, but I can't avoid it because this is a very important part of our offering. Okay, so if your members were to go into the England and Wales section of the website, that's what they'd see. And at the bottom, you will notice a literature library where they can download all of the most recent information on the AVC. So key features documents, which funds they can invest in, all of that sort of thing. Nobody needs to send off for a pack now. It's all available within that literature library. A couple of other things that are very useful for members. What are AVCs? Obviously going to take you through that. Some video clips in there from local government pension scheme members who have retired with the use of these things. And then the AVC calculator. If you click on here, it is possible now to put in £30 a month, £50 a month, £1,000 a month if you're closer to retirement, and actually see what the benefit of that contribution would actually be. You see it down here, what the extra pension would be if it was converted to an annuity. And of course you get loads of local government members now contributing to AVCs to get the whole thing tax-free, so you can see what the potential fund value would be based on certain ages and contributions and things like that. And finally, we have now introduced an online click submit application. One of the biggest problems with our business is getting members to actually step over the line in the first place. Everybody needs to transact in their own way. Obviously the only way we can normally do this is by them sending in an application form or doing it over the phone or whatever. But your members now can do this all online. So it's a significant development. I think what I've just spoken to the fund about is that I would encourage you to have a think about whether it's a good time for you to be cascading presentations and messages out to your members about the use of AVCs, possibly for early retirement issues and that sort of thing as well, understanding freedom of choice. So if you are of a mind, I have left my contact details, please do get in touch and I will happily come out and do that.